when we talk about being more, right? It's not just in the business, but it's in life. It's in other ventures. Changed my LinkedIn bio to real estate investor. I was like, oh, that's it. I'm legit now, you know. With that understanding, 99% of all the small problems that we look for can be found in our financials. So the one tip or the one piece of advice for everybody listening.
This is the Be More Show for agents, where you'll find real talk, shit talk, and ambition. We're here to build real businesses and be more than your average agent. We want to know what killers are actually doing within their businesses, the reality of it, all tactical, no fluff. So we're here to find out. Please share and enjoy.
Woo! Woo! Mikey G in the house.
What's up?
Dude, so excited to have you on because, you know, I feel like I know you and you know me. You know the depths of my fucking soul. You've seen me at my worst. I've seen you at your best and your worst. Like, dude, I know what you smell like when you haven't showered for 3 days. Like and I fucking love you.
I love you too, man. You family. And yeah, a lot of people don't really know how much we've been through, like together. You know what I mean?
Dude.
It's blood is thicker than water.
I'm gonna cry,
Or
guys.
whatever.
Dude, no, I agree though, because like Mike, when we like talk to people, they don't know that we've like built and sold companies. We've invested in real estate and like have been in car rides for 9 hours and done the mud runs and traveled internationally, like all of these different things. So this episode I'm super excited about. And thank you so much for coming on to the Be More Show for Agents.
Absolutely. I am honored to be here. You two are some of my favorite humans in the world. I know this thing is going to be a major success. So I'm happy to add value wherever I can.
Hell yes. And so we're going to let you share who you are in your own words. But first, Allie, are we going to embarrassing story? I already said too much.
I was like, where are we going with this?
Hit him.
So
Hit him with the
Mike, I'm about to hit him real hard.
Sorry.
Mike, I don't know if you prepared for this or not, but you're going to have to be quick on your toes with this. We are starting out every episode with breaking the ice hardcore, like just diving through that ice all the way down. Hit us with your most embarrassing moment that you are willing to share, of course.
Yeah, right.
You know what?
We're ready to roast you. That's the point of this.
Yeah, I've grown past this now. But I actually mentioned it to a buddy and he was like, can I air that? I was like, nah, man, let's not air that. I'm going to air it. I'm going to air out some dirty laundry right now. The most embarrassing moment I can remember. I was maybe 14, 15. You know, I've just moved to Houston and there was this girl that was so cute, man. It was a family friend's daughter. She was so cute. She was my age. You know, I tried to holler at her, but I was a little nervous. I'm a small country, boy going into Houston. I don't know what to do. So I think her dad kind of picked up on it. He was like, hey, let's all go to the mall together. And so I'm excited. I'm thinking, yeah, me and her can spend some time. Well, he actually brought my little brother with me. I'm like, okay, well, I still got some swag. I can make this work. We get to the mall and we're having fun. The first thing that we do is go out and eat. And so I don't remember where it was, but I got this big ass burger. I got the bacon on it and everything. And I was just tearing it up. I was like, man, this is good. About 3/4 of the way through the burger, my gut just said, oh
no,
that ain't working no more. I said, ooh. That was an all too familiar feeling, right? So, all right, I was like, okay, all right. Hey, guys,
why was it all
right
too
back.
familiar?
Because as kids, we eat anything. We'll eat anything as kids. If it fell on the floor, we eat it. So my stomach, I had some gut issues, Yeah, exactly.
I still do that.
I know Shelby definitely does. Yeah, so I ran out of there and I was like, I'm gonna go find a restroom real quick. So I'm running around. Now this got, mind you, I came from a small town, Killeen, Texas. The mall there, you could just throw a rock and it's ping, that's the end of the mall. Like I can see the end of the mall. We were in Houston. This mall was so big. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I'm running around and I'm lost and I'm like sprinting. A mall security guard is going to yell at me, hey, no running. I said, no running. I said, ma'am, where's the bathroom? And she was like, it's right there. So I sprinted. She said, no running. I said, man, shut your ass up. I got there to the bathroom and I just reached for it and everything just went loose.
Oh my God.
Right before I got to that damn bathroom door, man.
Dude, it's the worst.
It's the worst. So I got in there I got in there completely embarrassed. I took everything. I threw away the drawers, threw them away, right?
Wow.
And then I cleaned myself up as much as I could. Luckily, like the pants weren't soaked. You know what I mean? Luckily, like the pants were okay. So I cleaned up. It took me so long. I just felt like I stank, But well,
I'm
I
sure you
know I
did.
was good because my little brother told me later I was good. We end up going back. They're like, "Where you been?" It's been like 45 minutes. I didn't realize how long it's been. I was
Oh
just
my
not
God.
good. And then the worst part about it was we had to drive back, and I had to share the back seat with the girl that I had a crush on. So I ain't talked to her the whole damn way. Needless to say, I ain't get the number. You know what I mean? I ain't get the digits. So embarrassing, man.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
that sucks so bad. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
Damn.
well, hey, I mean, you live life. Now I'm comfortable saying it because that was so long ago. That's when I was
Yeah.
14.
Well,
That's almost 3 decades ago.
and now you've like built up all the strength and you can really squeeze your cheeks together.
Oh
You can
yeah,
Yeah,
make
he's
it
been
my
back
going
to
since
the
clinch,
30s.
yeah.
my clinch game is tight. I'm good
It
to
even shows in
go.
your face. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
We love your DMs on Instagram, and as long as you don't sound like a bot or aren't sharing your overnight crypto success, hit us up on Instagram. Let's be friends. We're at The Shelby Show and at Allie the Agent.
See, this is the information we need. Thank you.
That's all y'all need to know. That was a great
Yeah,
episode,
we're
guys.
done.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and not watching it, you need to come onto YouTube and watch Mike's face. That's when you're going to know. When you see that face again, you know what Mike's up
It
to.
was serious. Yeah.
Dude.
Now I'm just in the middle of like a award ceremony or something. Like Mike's holding back a shit.
We all know it.
Damn.
But
So
you
how did the rest of that go with the relationship with that girl and the dad? Because it seemed like the dad knew you and liked you. Did you guys just, how did that go?
Well, I think the girl didn't. Was it? She thought I wasn't interested in her for good reason, right? Because I was just so like standoffish, and the dad thought I wasn't interested in her either. So he never kept trying to play matchmaker. And I just
Damn.
told my little brother. My little brother was in the car with me. I just told him like 2 years ago what happened, and he was like, "What?" Like, but yeah, he said he didn't smell anything either. So I think we made it clear we were good.
Nice. Good, good. Well, I'm glad that you have survived that and it is past no more PTSD and you were able to talk about it. Thank you for sharing that shit with us. So
You are very welcome.
let's dig into you as a person. Who are you? What are you about? Let's start with before real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I mentioned, I grew up in a small town, Killeen, Texas, for all my military people. It's right outside of Fort Hood. But nobody in my family was actually in the military. And we actually grew up very poor. My mom made at the time, I think like 26,000. I remember her sharing it with like $26,000. She's raising 2 kids, really just trying to make it work. So what that kind of forced us all to do was be very resourceful. If we got food, we found a way to make it stretch. If the lights went out, we found a way to cool it off or heat up the house. And that kind of carried with me throughout my entire life. So I mean, even then, because the rhetoric was, hey, we don't really have money, find money, be resourceful. Even as a child, I was trying to find a way to like sell Pokemon cards and whatever the case may be, right? And that kind of all translated. I moved with my father to go to school in Houston, right? And that's where that whole story happened. But we finally get in Houston, and my dad immediately teaches me about money by saying, "Hey, you hungry? Yeah." We go to a Subway. He's sitting there ordering a sandwich. He's like, "What you want? Get what you want." I get the sandwich, and we go all the way to the end, and he paid for his sandwich only, and then looked at me, and he was like, "You got money, don't you?" I'm like, "I guess." I was like, so from
How
that
old are
day
you?
forward, I was 14.
Oh God.
I was
Okay.
14. Yeah. And this was literally, he picked me up to move with him. This was the trip up to move with him. Right.
Setting
So it's like, I didn't even get
expectations.
there. Yes.
Yeah.
He set expectations early. And he kept that expectation. He kept that. So, even from then I was buying my deodorant, my toothpaste, all the things that I wanted. He kind of made me buy, which made me become more conscious about being resourceful with money. And so I studied business in high school. There was actually a program called DECA, Distributive Education Clubs of America. Shout out DECA. Where I really got my first kind of taste of it. Started a business for a competition, made it to regionals. And at that point in time, I was like, hey, I might be able to do this. So then I went to college, studied business there, had a full academic scholarship, and then I lost it. I was
Oh
bullshitting.
shit.
I was partying too much. Yeah. And so that forced me to be resourceful yet again. And that's where I joined the military, right? I joined the National Guard. They helped me pay for all of that. That turned into being fascinated with the Army. I went special forces. I did that for a little over 8 years. And in total, I served just over 11 years. And I found real estate in that time.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. And it's so funny because like I'm not gonna know everyone as well as I know you, but like each time you make like a little mention, like I just want to be like fucking nerd for like the business
Yeah.
club, or when you were like super poor. Like I remember this is, and we're fast forwarding a little bit, but I remember when we're in real estate, like we're doing it, we're investing, like closing deals as agents, and I go over to your house, and literally you have a tough box as your kitchen table. You have no fucking furniture in the entire, and I know how much money you're making, like, and you're literally eating ramen, your fucking PB&J, whatever, on a tough box. It was so,
Wow.
anyway,
I,
side note, he's frugal
yeah,
as shit.
being frugal, then a lot of that had to do with my upbringing. But to that point, I think a lot of people find success and then they go into lifestyle creep. And I think
Yeah.
that's an issue with especially a lot of people in real estate, because as we start, sometimes for us, these commission checks are huge. They're game changers. We get 2 closings and we're like, hell, we didn't make that much in our W-2.
Yeah.
And so it can be very easy to start spending that money on simple stuff. But no, I spent all of my money. I took it and I just threw it into investments.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
tell us about your real estate journey. So that was like a little bit before. What has,
Yep.
what's your real estate journey been like up until now?
Yeah, yeah. So during that whole military thing, I was active duty. I actually got my first house using the VA home loan. Most of you guys should know what that is, but that's where you're able to
Yeah.
put a 100% financing for your primary home, which is a beautiful thing. And what I was doing, because I was a single soldier at the time, I was already renting out the other rooms. And so, to me, this was just smart money move. Like, don't spend money, right? If you can get it covered, get it covered. And then I tried Amway. I tried all these other things, trying to side hustle. And I finally went to one of those like 2-day real estate seminars, whatever, one of those weekend seminars. And it was on the final day, the guy, he mentioned something. He was like, this is all great. Obviously, you can sign up. He was like, but one of the easiest ways to get started is through house hacking. And I was like, what the hell? And he started telling me what house hacking is, right? Where you live in it and you rent out some other spaces. So as soon as he said it, I said, what? Changed my LinkedIn bio to real estate investor. I was like, oh, that's it. I'm legit now, Went out to Goodwill, got 3 new suits, started taking headshots. That was it.
Did you get a new kitchen table though?
No, hell no. I put
Dude,
2 tough boxes together.
Living the dream, dude. Okay, but help me with the timestamps here.
Yeah.
So you failed out of college.
Yep. No, I didn't fail. I lost my scholarship, but I did graduate.
Sorry.
You're
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then you joined the military. What year was that ish?
2000 and beginning of January 2009. January
2009. Okay, and then you got that first. You created house hacking for the rest of the world, but in what year was that?
This was in 2014.
2014. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
VA loan at that point, realized you were an investor. And then, okay, now I'm caught up mentally. What else? How to go from there?
Yeah, so that event happened maybe late 2015, maybe, or maybe early 2016. Because in 2016, once I knew that I was a real estate investor, I started doing bird dogging deals. I started doing wholesaling deals. I started doing all of the things that were taught as this is how you start as an investor. And I learned a lot, bumps and bruises, all that good stuff. And then I finally ran into a deal that was a soldier was having an issue trying to sell their property. They used a VA loan. A year later, they had a PCS, right? Which means permanent change of station, meaning they had to move. The Army was going to force them to move. And they had no equity in the property. And so they actually went to their realtor, and the realtor said, hey, look, in order to sell this, it's going to cost you about $15,000 because I need my commission. They need their commission. You got no equity. So you're going to have to bring that commission to the table. And I was able to kind of figure out what was going on, ask all the right questions, and solve their issue with a creative financing structure called Subject to. And by doing that Subject to, I was able to get my first rental property for only $1,800. That was the real spark of it all. After that, boom, time went on. I met Shelby through Ruben Garcia. Shout out to Ruben.
Proven.
Met Shelby. We talked a little bit. We interacted. And then towards the end, I was like, hey, look, I plan on getting licensed. Selfishly, in the beginning, I was getting licensed for my own deals. But after working with Shelby, I was like, hey, why don't we just start a team? And boom, the team started. I kept investing. And now I have investment experience with hotel syndications, private equity firms, subject to lease option, wraparound mortgage, all this fun stuff. And we've been able to build out the team to a little over 100 agents now in just that short time span.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you for taking up to, so that's pretty much where you're at now, right? Or is there any other part that you haven't mentioned yet about your real estate life now before we move
Yeah,
into the
well,
deep dive?
yeah, the only switch now is, once we really build up that team and the culture's there, the community's there, and we're still growing that, by the way. But and I was able to build up my investment portfolio. I also dabbled in more things, right? When we talk about being more, right? It's not just in the business, but it's in life, it's in other ventures. And so, what I was able to do is once we built up the business to actually have the freedom to be more, I then started dabbling in other passions. And so, for 2 years, I worked as a fractional CFO, chief financial officer for a private equity firm that focused on hotel syndication. I was able to kind of to use that experience to then launch my independent practice where I help real estate professionals, brokers, agents, investors, lenders really gain control of their finances so they can start to treat their business like a real business.
Dude, it's like you fucking read my mind. Because that's the part, like, we let up, we want to know about your real estate life, your journey beforehand and where you are now. And then the next piece of the puzzle is like, what piece of your business, real estate business, do you feel like you have on lock in a way that you could help people understand it in depth and able to implement a piece of it tomorrow?
Absolutely.
If that made sense, fuck.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, tell me if I'm wrong, but basically, it's something that I can share right now with your audience that
Please. Yeah.
that they can use right now in their business for all
Excellent.
intents and purposes. Yes. So, when we think about being a business owner, the crux of it all is that we solve problems. That's what we do, right? That's how we can able to make money. And even Elon Musk said, "You're paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of the problem you solve." Right? I love that quote because it's so true. As real estate agents, we're solving problems for sellers and for buyers, right? For homeowners, for sellers. And so when we really start to think about that, this is great. It's easy for us to look at the revenue generating piece of the puzzle. It's easy for us to say, hey, we need more money in our business, or hey, we're not making enough money. Let's go do more sales. That's an easy button. What's harder to do is actually sit back and look at all of your financials. Where have you been spending your money? When you spend your money on this specific category, is it actually giving you a return on an investment? Or does it just look fancy and it's doing nothing for your business? Right. And so, with that understanding, 99% of all the small problems that we look for can be found in our financials. And so, with that being said, that's where I really feel the strong suit. I mean, the financials could tell you if you show me your financials and I can tell you exactly what you're doing in your business. I can tell you if it's a sales issue, I can tell you if it's a marketing issue, so forth and so on. So the one tip or the one piece of advice for everybody listening is the first step, right, to getting your financial house in order is to have proper books. And we can do that through bookkeeping. And I always recommend that anybody who's starting a business start with bookkeeping. And a lot of us want to say that we can do it ourselves, but let's be honest. Let's be honest. We get our nose to the grindstone. We're looking at it. We get distracted. Ooh, another deal. Ooh, another whatever. What was supposed to be done in 2 days, now it's 2 months later and you ain't touched it. Now it's a massive project instead of a small project. So hiring bookkeeping is one of the simplest steps into getting your financial house in order.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, hypothetically, I want to see this two different directions, but hypothetically, like if the thing right now, the piece of the puzzle that you love in your business is the financials, and if people are listening and they're like, shit, man, like, yeah, I know I should hire a bookkeeper, but I don't even understand like what do bookkeepers do? Like what like hypothetically, if I were to do it myself, where would I even start? Like what does that mean to an agent or someone starting a business?
Yeah, absolutely. So what bookkeeping really is being able to track every single penny that comes in and out of your business, right? And what I mean by track is I know that penny went to McDonald's, that penny went to Staples for this marketing flyer, right? Now, if you think about that, that may seem tedious, it may seem cumbersome, but that's what bookkeepers do. They collect all your receipts and your transactions. They might ask you a few questions for clarity, but then they input it into your financials so it has everything there. Now, where do you go to find bookkeepers? You guys, I mean, we can always Google them, right? We can go to CPAs. Typically, our accountants have bookkeepers on staff. But it's also an important distinction to understand that bookkeepers are just that. They are data entry. Now some bookkeepers got some extra skills, but for the most part, bookkeeping is just data entry. So there are other levels to having your financial house in order and using strategy and how to implement and how to read, but you got to have that bookkeeping.
I have more questions, but Allie, I don't want to hog. Do you have any questions?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So next follow-on question. It's like, yes, okay, I understand that I need to track every penny. I need to know what it's going towards. So I guess like in the very beginning, it starts with the like setting up its own bank account, right? And not commingling funds. Like, is that what you would say is like step one? And then like what tools? So if I'm like writing something, if I'm like annotating where every penny's going, how do I know what's a write-off, what's not, whatever? Does that make sense?
Great questions.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
let's start from the beginning. Let's say so. Let's say step one. Step one, we go out, we start this business. We're saying, hey, we're going to do this real estate thing. Even if you don't go out and get an LLC, right, which is a whole different conversation, you should absolutely set up another bank account, right? So even if it's in your personal name, set another bank account. What that's going to allow you to do is not commingle the funds, and we can evaluate all business income and business expenses from that bank account. Now, even if we just left it there, and we pull open our bank statement, we can see all the money in and all the money out. That's still better than trying to deposit your commission check into your personal account. Now you don't know what was groceries. Now you don't know what was gas for business, so forth and so on, right? So that is absolutely step one. Now, the next step is when we're starting to see like, hey, we're generating some money. When we're generating some money, we typically have to also pay taxes, right? Right. And so we always like give the rich shit for, not paying taxes. And even Donald Trump was seen on the air. He was like, hell yeah, I took that. Why wouldn't we? It's meant for us to take the discount or the credit or whatever. So when we start to operate like a business, it's understanding the benefits that we have because of that. And the IRS, the tax code, clearly states that, hey, I want you to create more affordable housing, right? So our investors now, they get benefits for owning houses. I want you to create more jobs. So our business owners, we get certain credits. And so once we really start making some money, it's like, hey, look, this is opportunity for us to keep more of our money. That's where bookkeeping really comes into play. And to your point, Shelby, asking, what do I take as a deduction? What do I take as a write-off or depreciate, so forth and so on? We can absolutely go into those type of details, but that's where the CPA comes into play. Or if you had a business financial advisor or CFO, that's where they would come into play and really help you separate the two.
So just to be clear, what you're going to be providing the audience is like your secret sauce is bookkeeping, right? Like I just want to make sure so we're tailoring our questions more so on bookkeeping, or is there something else that you want to add that we can get into? Because we can dive into bookkeeping.
I would love to go balls deep into bookkeeping, but Mike, that's a great question. Let's tell us.
Yeah, I appreciate that question. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I come in and I operate as the CFO, right? The Chief Financial Officer. What does that mean? Basically, I'm your business financial advisor. That's what it does. So when I step into your company, I'm actually managing those conversations with your bookkeeper. I'm actually managing those conversations with your CPA or your tax strategist, right? So we can have a holistic view of how we need to structure our systems within our business, right? So that's my primary role. And that really dives into bookkeeping is a big portion of it. I'm not personally going in and doing the data entry, but I'm the one that's having those conversations, advising corrections, so forth and so on with the bookkeeper.
And did you mention already where people can find a bookkeeper?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Google it or go directly to a CPA. If you guys need a bookkeeper, come holler at me. I got a whole list of them too.
Okay, so with the CFO role and what you're seeing in the real estate professionals that you're working with, what do you see as like the biggest consistent issue that most real estate agents have in their business financials?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest issue that runs up, what I'm seeing is clarity, right? Real clarity, right? Imagine if you can, just like Superman, you can see miles down the road. You knew what was coming. How much more confident would you be inside of your business day to day, knowing what's going to happen in 3 months, 6 months, whatever the case is? With clarity, oftentimes we focus so much on the make, right? There's more sales, more lead generation, but we're not actually focusing on the operations inside the company. And I'll give you a perfect example. I had a client that just brought me on a couple months ago. They just got done doing some crazy numbers in flips. I mean, their average flip price was somewhere between 40,000, 60,000, and they did
Nice.
upwards of 50 flips within the year. I mean, they bringing in crazy revenue, but they didn't have clarity. So when I sat down, I got with their bookkeeper, we made sure that every item is in the right place and we actually cleaned up their financials. Come to find out, they actually lost $90,000 last year, right?
Damn.
What most of us focus on as entrepreneurs, to be fair, is we focus on the revenue, we focus on the sale, we focus on, damn, you know what'll fix my problems? More closings, more deals. Seldom do we actually focus on the efficiency of the money that we manage inside after we get that sales. Then what comes next? That'll be what I see as one of the biggest issues with small business owners.
So what are some numbers or measures? How can somebody today look at their business and analyze are they if they're bleeding or if they're not? Like what are some quick, you know?
Great, yeah. So if you the easiest way is basically to take your income minus all of your expenses. Now, that sounds easy, but when we say expenses, if you have a business credit card, well, guess what? All the interest you pay is an additional expense. So you would have to account for that, right? If you're paying like leads, like pay per click, right? Well, we got to figure out how many clicks so we can add that up, right? If you're paying overtime for an employee, you got to add that up. And so it's easy to say income versus expenses, but actually understanding what is all included in expenses is its own journey, right? Now, that is one of the simplest ways to do it. When we look at that, you want to be in the positive. This is the bare bones, right? We all know that. We want to be in the positive. Now, what we can do though is we can take that net income right at the bottom and we can divide it by our top line income or our revenue, right? Hey, we got a commission check for 10,000. That's before, that's top line. So we take that net income and we divide it by that top line, and that'll give us a net profit margin. And we love margins, guys. We love percentages because percentages tells us truth. Numbers lie. Dollars will lie to you. Here's a great example. If you made $1 million this year, you'd probably be pretty damn happy, right? $1 million seems pretty good.
Yes. Woo.
If you spent $1 million to make $1 million, are you as happy?
No.
Yeah, because you walk away with zero, right?
Yeah.
So the $1 million income is a lie to you. If our net profit margin is zero, well, shit, we didn't make anything. We want to look for efficiency. So by measuring that where the net profit margin shows us efficiency, and a good general rule of thumb is we want to try to be somewhere 15% or higher for a net profit margin. Now that'll change depending on your business model, but that's a good general rule of thumb. That's it. That's the easiest place to start.
Is that also how you would track? You also mentioned like tracking advertisement or leads, the pay per click,
Mhm.
advertising dollars or whatever your expenses are individually. Is that a good return on my time and money? Is what kind of measurement or metric do you use for that? Is that pretty much similar?
Great question. So,
Yo, real quick, this podcast is not free. Cost of admission is sharing with a buddy who'd benefit or throwing it on your Instagram story. Tag us, we'll reshare that shit.
great question. So, when we think of individual expenses, so individual expenses are more so like how you would track your sales performance. All right. So we all track sales one or two ways. Well, primarily this way, right? Hey, we have a lead. We have a lead, we have a contact. Out of all these leads, how many contacts do we make? Out of all the contacts that we made, how many contracts do we get signed? Right? Is it starting to sound familiar? After how many contracts you have, how many close? Right? And that's a way to track that. And so what we're doing is we're tracking the efficiency from each stage. And think about that. We don't just want to see, oh, we got 100 leads and we've got 50 contacts. Well, that's cool. That's fine. But we want to see the percentage. How efficient were we? Was our conversion rate 50% or 10%, right?
Yeah.
That's how we track every single one of these items. So when it comes to marketing, we're going to have that. We're going to have, let's say it was YouTube advertisements. Great. We're going to have an item that we're looking for YouTube advertisements. We're going to track how many leads came from YouTube ads, how many contacts were made from YouTube ads, how many deals, so forth and so on. And we're going to do that through each one of these major categories so we can really start to identify where are we efficient, where are we really making money, and where are we not. And as soon as we identify all these things that we thought we were making money on, right, and that aren't, we can cut those out. Right? We can double down on the things that are good.
Okay, so to confirm, just so I understand the process, it's like, okay, there's the agent out there or the business owner, team leader, whatever the case may be. And the step one would be getting their books in order, whether that be doing them themselves, but like recommend that they get an actual bookkeeper. And then once the books are in order, that's where you come in, correct me if I'm wrong, for like the analysis and coaching and the percent and determining what to cut, what to keep, and kind of looking ahead to where business direction. Like, is that correct?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And so oftentimes I can come in and actually help get the books in order, right? With the oversight of the bookkeeper, because I know what it should look like. I know what right looks like, or some of the questions to ask. And then to your point, yes, once the books are in order, now we're dissecting this thing. We got to get in there like, gnat's ass, figure out the details. What's really costing you money? What's really making you money? And then we're going to create a strategy around it. So, hey, look, we have a $5,000 a month budget for marketing. All right, cool. 80% of that budget, we're going to spend on tried and true marketing results. And we have the data to prove it. The other 20%, maybe we'll do a little research and development. You said you wanted to try this. Let's try it out. Let's give it 6 months. Right. But at this point, now you're very confident in where the money's going. You don't feel like, damn, I hope this is a good return. Or damn, I don't know what taxes are going to be, but I hope it ain't a lot. Right? There's a strategy behind it all, and so we can allocate the money appropriately.
Sorry, Allie, go.
Super quick. What are some of the tried and true methods of advertisement that you're talking about?
Well, that's going to be different for everybody. That's going to be different. Some people's cold calling has some crazy conversion rates, right? Some people's SMS campaigns, their text message campaigns have crazy conversion rates. So what's important is we have to track it all. And matter of fact, for the audience, I do have a part of what I'm giving you at the end is going to have a piece about marketing. We'll talk about that towards the end here, but because marketing is so important, so we have to track all of those things because every company is going to be different, every person is going to be a little bit different, every market is going to be a little bit different, and so once we identify it, that's when we really hone in on it.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool. I have one more question. Actually, probably 10 more questions. When you're talking about how, once the books are in order and you guys are like strategizing for taxes and knowing what's coming, and like my mind went to CPA. And so I guess I've never had a CPA I've never had my books in order enough to be at a place where I'm ahead of the game. So I'm just imagining what CPA relationships in theory should look like. But how is that different than like in theory, a good CPA bookkeeper relationship?
Absolutely. CPAs are tax specialists. They're not business specialists. And so if you actually get into the study of accounting, you have tax accounting and you have managerial accounting. CPAs are tax accountants. You want to have some sort of person in the company helping you with managerial accounting, how we're tracking the numbers inside the operations of the company. And most people get that confused. Most people think a CPA is that one size fits all. They think the CPA is going to be the godsend that comes down and says, hey, you're spending too much here, you're spending too much there. That's not their job.
Literally, that's what I've been expecting.
Yeah, that's not their job. Yeah, you might find it if like one CPA out there offers it, but across the board, when we think of tax versus finance, right? Taxation is past performance. Hey, how did you perform in 2022? What do you have to pay? right? We're bookkeeping from the month that just happened. That's the tax performance. Financing is future, it's projection. We're thinking, all right, this is how we performed. What can we expect the performance to be in the future? And so every good business owner, yes, we need the tax side. We absolutely do. But we also need the finance side.
Some CPAs now are doing like the quarterly check-in or as
Mhm.
needed for more so strategy. Uh
Yes.
is how is that, I guess, separate? Because some of them, focus on real estate investing. So before you make a move, before you buy, before you sell, hit me up. We'll go over it, either pay per hour or you're paying for an annual fee for however many contacts with a CPA. How is that different from a business?
Yeah. So tax strategy, typically CPAs are trying to reduce your tax obligation. Excuse me. Whew. The
You almost shot
typically
yourself there or
the
what?
yeah.
Dude,
You just-
his seat's wet. It's fine.
Ah, you see me leaning. I'm leaning to the side for a reason.
He's slipping and
Oh,
sliding.
y'all are ridiculous, man. I'm never gonna live this one down, man. Um, uh, yeah. So for CPAs with taxation, we're talking about tax strategy, right? So their mindset typically is, how do we lower your taxable obligation as much as possible? And so what that means is through deductions, it's through depreciation, it's through carryover, all these other strategies. So an example of a strategy is, hey, I made $500,000 in net income. I'm about to be taxed on $500,000. Mr. and Mrs. CPA, how can I get this down? Well, hey, look, maybe you can use Section 179, which means you can go out and purchase a vehicle for a 100% business use. That's 55,000 pounds, whatever the regulation is. And what we'll do is, instead of depreciating it like the tax code wants us to, because it meets the 179 rules, we'll take all of that off your 50,000. And so now we just took off 100,000. Now you're taxed only on 400,000. You see, that's tax strategy. And there's a tons of really good techniques out there. But it's to reduce your tax obligation. With financial strategy or managerial accounting strategy, well, now what we're looking at is, hey, how do we increase the efficiency from our sales conversion? Now we have the contract to close. Like, they're falling out here. Why? How do we fix that? Right? Hey, our sales team conversion rate is only 15%. How do we increase that? Do we hire? Do we spend more money to hire sales? Do we hire sales training? Right? Concepts like that. So it's a different strategy overall for the future benefit of the company, but taxation is a little bit different.
Copy. So how? Oh my god, that sounds so military. God, delete that.
I know.
Just
I was
kidding.
like, girl.
Just kidding. Uh,
Tracking, tracking.
uh,
Yeah.
so when you got into this originally, like started learning more about managerial financing and just like business strategy and tracking all of the metrics, how did that change your business, and how have you seen that change other people's businesses? Like, what can agents expect going forward, like in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I studied this in my undergraduate and in my master's program, and just like everybody else, sometimes you hear things, but you don't focus on it until you're ready for it, right? Until it really
Totally.
just resonate with you in life. And so it actually took me some time before I really sat down and focused on it and harnessed on it. And it was when I had the opportunity to work as the CFO for the private equity company. Just prior to that, maybe a couple months, is when I really started looking at the overall financials of my companies, right? And the biggest impact that I had is, I recently, at the height, I had 134 rental properties spread across 3 different states, just doing God knows whatever they wanted to do, right? And I ran the numbers, and some of them were just such a headache, and people were calling me, and people weren't paying, and they needed renovations. I ran the numbers and found out that I was making a 12% net profit margin, right? We're talking about the margin now. And so what that meant, out of every single dollar I earned, I kept 12 cents, which is pretty good, right? It's not bad. Because remember, we said 15% or higher is kind of like that sweet spot. So I was making 12. That's not bad. Well, after focusing on it, and I really started looking at what was being inefficient, where's the money lagging from? Where is the money really coming in from that's consistent? Where's the efficiencies within the operation? I actually sold over half of my properties. And now my net profit margin is 30%. Right. And so that's a major impact because now I'm doing less, but I'm keeping more of my money.
Yeah, that seems like right in line with the what's that pumpkin book by Mike Michalowicz, the one who also wrote Profit First. One of his
Yeah, I know
first books
profit
was
first.
like
I don't
the
know the pumpkin.
It's
oh
a
yeah, it's
pumpkin
something
book.
about pumpkins. Yeah, yeah, like I shit you not, it's something like pumpkin plan or some shit. Essentially, like farmers of pumpkins used to
Yeah,
think that like the more pumpkins you have, the better because you could sell them all, whatever. But really, if you just take away the ones that are fucking rotting, and then therefore like not getting into the way of those that are flourishing, whatever pumpkins do, you'll end up getting a better return because you're putting pretty much more, of your effort into like, one pumpkin or a couple of pumpkins that are going to be producing a better return as opposed to having a million shitty pumpkins.
exactly. Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to.
I love that too because a lot of it, I feel like it goes back to ego too, where a lot of times like
Mm.
all you want to do is say that you have more pumpkins, you have the most pumpkins, or you have the most houses, or that you're closing the most deals. But at the end of the day, it's like none of that matters. What really matters is, what are you bringing home at the end of the day, and what does your sanity look like with maybe having less pumpkins, but having a lot of really badass pumpkins. I'm loving the pumpkin thing.
Yeah.
You were shitting on it
That's
before,
a really good point.
Whatever.
two seconds ago, just rewind 2 seconds. She was like, "Fuck your pumpkin."
Exactly.
But you bring up a really good point because what to answer your second part of your question, Allie, how have I seen it help other people? Is oftentimes when we get started, we get fixated primarily on ego, right? We start off with a goal. Hey, I want to do this so it can create X. Let's call it maybe a lifestyle, maybe time freedom, maybe a certain amount of cash flow, whatever it is. And as we start doing it and we start to see success, we get fixated on that. We forget about our real original intent, and ego takes over. And before you know it, you've now created that second job, right? And you're literally grinding 80 hours. If anybody told you business was easy, that's a lie.
Yeah.
It's your bit. You got to take care. You're the CEO, chief everything officer. You wear all the hats. It's everything. So when we get sucked into this 80-hour, 100-hour weeks, we don't get to actually enjoy the lifestyle that we were trying to design. And the biggest impact about having your financial house in line, the financial structure, systems, and processes is, you know your numbers. I can do 10 deals. I'm going to make this much. I don't have to do 30 deals.
Yeah.
You know your numbers. You have that confidence back. And really what it helps you do is design that lifestyle that you've been hoping for or craving from the beginning.
Dude. Yeah, so true. And I want to do a really quick little recap just to make sure. So to bring it all the way back, like step one, if all your finances are fucked, if you're just an agent out there that's like slinging deals, you've no idea what's happening, you're using all the different credit cards, you have no idea what's going on. Like step one, probably commit to change, right?
Yes.
And then open a business account to stop commingling funds.
Yep.
Would be another right away. Committing to learning what you can write off and what you can't. Hiring a bookkeeper. If you need help for that, get to Mike, and get to a point where your books are caught up into a place where you can start looking ahead as opposed to just constantly playing catch up. And when you're at that page, try to find someone like Mike in your life who can help you analyze where your actual business is going as opposed to this just madness of fucking money flying and you have no idea what's going on. Is that like, did I get it?
Yep, that's exactly right. I mean, hell, if you could just get to the point where you have a system in place to keep your books updated, you're ahead of 90% of the competition, guys. You're most of the way there, right? And then whenever you're ready to have a conversation with someone like me, I'm always available. I do have a community as well where entrepreneurs are coming together. They get all the same coaching that I would for my one-on-one clients. It's just in a group setting as well. So, I mean, there's tons of options out there.
Oh, and I have a little nugget for people whose finances might just be totally fucked, like mine have been in the past, but 2023 is my year, man. And something that's really helped me, and I've actually been doing it probably at least the past 6 months, if not longer, is Financial Friday. And so everyone in my life knows that every Friday from 9 to 11 and sometimes longer, all I'm doing is looking at the things that I don't necessarily want to look at. So I'm going through and checking my LLC. What has the bookkeeper updated? What do my actual books look like? But also the things that I know that I should be doing that I never want to, like, and you can hire some of the stuff out, but like hypothetically, if you have short-term rentals and you want to call and try to negotiate down the price of your services, or you want to, what are some of the things shop insurance quotes for X, Y, and Z. But basically all of the finance related tasks that always in your mind can somehow just wait until tomorrow, and tomorrow never fucking comes. If you have it on your calendar once a week, dedicated space for that, it really does help keep moving the needle forward.
So I 100% agree.
Yeah, that's a great lead up to the question of what does this look like day to day? Like, what are the expectations of what agents should expect with them now changing the way that they do shit? They're going to be more clear on their business, or at least they should. They should at least just do step one, just fucking commit.
Yeah.
So what would that look like? Is it a weekly thing, every Friday, every month? Tell us some more details about realistic shit.
Realistically, most small business operators, we just need to look at it once a month. Once everything is in place, we're going to always go back and we're going to check the previous month, because the way that bookkeeping typically works, it's always in arrears. What that means is we're recording in April right now. So we had to have March close all the way out.
I hope that agents know what arrears means.
Yeah, arrears means in the past. If y'all don't know what arrears means, go back to agency school.
Also just, Google it.
Or Google it, yeah. But also go back to the school.
Ask ChatGPT.
There you go. ChatGPT is a powerful tool. Yeah, so so we have to close out the month entirely so we can get all the receipts, get all the bank statements, and then we go back and reconcile it. So because of that, then by month to month, that's typically enough. Like we can reconcile by the 15th of every month. We can review our books, and now we can come up with more strategies and adapt. Now, once we're looking at it monthly, we only adjust quarterly, only 4 times throughout the year, because we have to collect the data, right? If we got a knee-jerk reaction and we're just like, damn, our sales suck, change everything, right? It's like, hold on, that might have been just the season. That might have been just, the holiday season or whatever. Let it build out. And if we adjust quarterly, now we can start to see seasonality trends too. And now, how much would you like to know? Hey, you know what? Every January through March, it's going to do this. So I need to choose this marketing channel. Right? You see how powerful that can be? And so by tracking all this information, that's really the powerhouse of it all. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. Shelby, is there anything that you think that I missed as far as day to day, or like what people should expect?
Yeah, no, that was the part. Yeah, no. So that's the case for most people. Now, once the company really scales, and now we're talking, you have like 10 employees and things like that, doing weekly views is probably going to be a little bit more catered to what you have going on.
Yeah, I like that. That seems to follow the same trends as Profit First, where it's, you dedicate a certain percentage of, every paycheck coming in to profit, OPEX, owner compensation, everything. And then you change it only every quarter instead of every month. Because every month is not enough data to figure out what the fuck you're doing. And if you should even make changes. So I like that. So moving on to the golden nugget piece. Every episode, we have a guest that comes on, obviously, and they provide something that we call a golden nugget, something free to give back to other agents to help them in their business. And we put that all in our website, and it's theagentgoldmine.com. So all of these golden nuggets are put into the gold mine. So what did you bring to the table? What can you share with other agents for free to help them in their business? Real quick, if you're listening to this on Apple does not make it easy to leave us a rating. So I'm going to break this shit down for you. In the search tab, type in the Be More Show for Agents. Click on the thumbnail. Then click that middle tab that says reviews and click write a review. Tap on those 5 stars, of course. Let us know how awesome this show is and how it's helped you. And if that's too much for you, I understand, and just switch to Spotify already. Thank you so much, and back to the show.
So yeah, actually I got a free course, guys. And this course is actually going to walk you through how to save thousands of dollars in your business without doing anything. It's just going to take some time for you to actually fill it out. And the first thing that we're going to discuss in that course is the home office reimbursement, which is a beautiful way for you to save money or not pay taxes on your HVAC repair, right? On your landscaping, when people come and cut your grass, right? So that's a really good one there. The other one is making that budget, understanding how to really create a budget that is firm yet flexible. So we can adjust quarterly and we can continue to go and see that seasonality. And then the final piece of that free course is the marketing that we talked about, guys. That's Tracker. It's a full templated spreadsheet. So you can just go in there, you can fill it out, and it'll allow you to put in exactly what channels you're using, spit out the numbers, and it will tell you your conversion rates. It'll tell you the efficiency of each one of these channels. So because this is an amazing platform, and I love you guys, everybody here, y'all are going to get that for free.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And again, yes, you can find that at theagentgoldmine.com. How long will this course take? So just so agents can have an idea as far as what to expect. How long will it take?
The best part about it is it's less than an hour, guys.
Damn.
It's just jam-packed. It's straight to the point.
Nice.
About 45 minutes or so, straight to the point. You guys are going to get the nuggets and no fluff, and then you guys are in and out.
Is it your voice?
You start putting it into action.
Is it your?
Yeah, it's me.
And your face.
You're going to see my face, and you're going to see each one of these modules has a downloadable template, right? It's already pre-filled out for you. And I'm going to walk you through how to use that template. And you're just going to go straight to work.
Oh, I want to do it. I'm going to do it. Can we watch you on 2 times speed?
Yeah, you can watch on 2 times speed. And the best part is you got lifetime access. So you can watch it on any speed as many times as you want.
Dude,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Totally. Okay. To pivot a little bit. So that's what you're working on. We know your background. We know what you're working on now, like the CFO, the finances, you're nerding the fuck out. So what is fast forward in life? Like, what does the next 5-10 years look like for you? I know that's so hard.
It is because I mean, everybody knows life changes and so plans change, right? And so I'm getting married here it's still quite a ways away. I looked at the calendar just now. It's still several months away, but that's coming up and that's going to be a life change, right? And we've discussed trying for kids after that. That's going to be a major life change too. But as it stands, thank you. But as it stands, like right now, the way that I'm going is by doing this. It's a marriage of what I truly love, and it gives me the flexibility to only work with the people I want to work with. Like even that community I talked about, it's not open to everybody. I'm only taking on like 10, 15 people at a time, because I can, right? And over the next 5 years, I really see this being able to scale at the pace that I find necessary, right? I would love to also acquire a bookkeeping company off all those conversations that we had. A bookkeeping company that knows how to keep standards, right? I want to, and I found one that I wanted to purchase, but for me specifically, I'd love to purchase one and make them only real estate focused bookkeeping company. That's it. For brokers, for investors, so forth and so on. So that's coming up and whoever listens to this and steals that idea, I'm gonna throat punch you. No, I'm playing. But if you steal the idea, call me, man. Let me get in with you. Don't just shun me out. Hell. But yeah, that's where I kind of see it going. And just really, really focusing on lifestyle. That Shelby, I had a really hard time in 2022. I had a really hard time. It's just where everything kind of, came to the crux of it all, where we grinded for 100-hour weeks for years.
Yeah.
And then I just, I hit burnout, and I don't ever want that to happen again. And I don't ever want that to be something that impacts my family ever again. So that's it, man. Just working towards that path.
I feel you so fucking hard on that, because you and I were both in it. 2022 was like the year of burnout. Like I hermited up, had to reset and rethink my whole life. And I'm right there with you, where it's like, what do I want to do? It's like thinking really hard about what brings me the most energy and what creates the lifestyle, regardless of ego, regardless of what other people think you might should be doing. So I just love the place that you've come, and I love every bit of talking to you today, and even your fucking squeezy butthole, like the whole thing. But we're not quite done. We're gonna wrap it up with a couple wrap-up questions. And so let's fucking wrap it up.
Yeah, starting with question number 1, probably the most important question. Are you going to ever get a dining room table? Just kidding.
Oh, we got one now. When once I got engaged, she was like, fix
Good.
all of this.
Good for her.
She went out and now we got 8 tables. We don't even use half of
8
them. I'm like,
tables.
damn.
Damn.
No, I'm over exaggerating, but it feels like it. It's only 2, but it feels like 8.
No, what is your favorite app or tool that you use for a business? Or in life, I guess.
All right,
too.
Well, that one threw me off. I got one for business.
Let's do business then. Let's do it.
Yeah, send it.
I'm going to be honest with you. The best tool for me is Microsoft Excel. I'm sorry. It's something simple, but it is so versatile. Like I build out all the calculators and spreadsheets that you guys are going to see were built in Excel, right? We're built in Excel. And I mean, that's just touching the surface. So I truly think that once you have some sort of mastery of Excel, anything that you want to know, you can make it show up.
Dude, I feel you so hard on that. I nerd out on Excel too.
I love it.
Okay, I got the next question. What events are you going to in this next upcoming year, if any?
Yeah, within the next 12 months, we are actually, the 5 Pillars community is for the first time ever putting on an in-person event for the 5 Pillars members. And that's happening in November, around Veterans Day. Veterans Day. So
you know,
I am
not Labor Day, like I said in my episode.
No, yeah, see, people showing up with the wrong dates and stuff. No, so that's the main one for me. I have been blessed to have many opportunities to go out and speak. So I'll be going to a couple different conferences to speak and just other events in general. But my calendar for this year, for 2023, is pretty slim. It's pretty slim besides that. 2024, I want to open it up a little bit more and start going to some more meetups.
Fuck yeah.
Nice. How can we help you and how can the audience help you in your business?
Yeah, this is what I want you guys to do. If y'all gonna help me out, I'm gonna share with you guys the free course. If you find value, just reach out to me and let me know. That's all I ask. Give me a thumbs up, direct message me. You guys are gonna have all my contact information. Just let me know, was it good? Can it be improved? I'm always open for improvement.
Dude, fucking love it. And that's actually a good segue into how can people find you? I know we're gonna put it all in the show notes.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite go-to?
My favorite one is YouTube, where you subscribe and hit the like. Right? No, that's no, on YouTube, guys. No, on YouTube, you guys can find me. It's under Michael S. Glaspie. It's also the real estate CFO. You might be able to type that in and find me. Instagram is Michael S. Glaspie or Michael.s. It's all the same, guys. It's Michael with an S and a Glaspie. Some got dots in it, some don't. But it's the same across all platforms. Just reach out to me. Instagram is hooked up to my CRM, so that might be a good way. Yeah, we just go from there.
Dude, you're the fucking man. Thank you so much for schooling us with all the nerdy shit with the money and the things. We all need it, even though we don't always want to hear it. So thank you very much. And guys, that is it for today. Allie, you know what to do. Be a bro.
And share this show.
Thanks for listening, dude. If you want the golden nugget that this guest provided, see the show notes or just go straight to theagentgoldmine.com. That's where we keep the resources for you. Till next time.